What up, people? Welcome to the Push Ball Black Show, and I'm your host, Christian. This is the Bearscast for week 2. The Bears beat the Broncos, surprisingly, 16-14 on a game-winning field goal by Eddie Pinero. And that was ugly, but I'll take it. My thoughts on the game, and this will be quick because there really wasn't nothing to get too angry about. Mr. Trubisky played like they pared the offense down, and they kind of took the ball out of his hands. He only he only had 27 passes completed, 16 of them, 120 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. David Montgomery's sighting happened. 18 carries, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Cordell Patterson had a sighting, 2 carries, 50 yards. He did one really good run. Tariq Cohen was the running game is still kind of a issue. Tariq Cohen had 4 carries, 18 yards. Taylor Gabriel had 1 carry, 14 yards. Mr. Trubisky had an 8-yard scramble. Mike Davis had 3 carries and 1 yard. All right. So receiving, there wasn't a lot of big receiving game. There wasn't a big receiving game today. Like I said, Mr. Trubisky threw for 120 yards. Allen Robinson, 4 receptions, 41 yards. Ben Broniker, 2 receptions, 24. Adam Shaheen, 3 receptions, 24 yards. Taylor Gabriel, 1 reception, 11 yards. And Tariq Cohen, 2 receptions, 7 yards. David Montgomery had 1 reception. Trey Burton had 2 receptions. And Anthony Miller had 1 reception for 2 yards. All right. So we got that out the way. The story of this game was the defense again, and with Kyle Fuller with one interception in the red zone. He kind of saved the game. He kind of saved the game for the Bears, even though the Bears couldn't capitalize when they got the ball back, and there was and basically the Broncos were able to get the ball back, score, and it was 13-14. That was a weird. The last couple minutes of the game with the what was it? It was they score. It was 13. It was 12-13. They scored a touchdown. Flacco scores a touchdown, and it was basically. It was deciding whether or not they were going to go for 2 or not. Vic Fangio goes for 2 the first time. It was a holding penalty. Then they decided to kick the field goal. The field goal is kicked. Then it was a penalty. The field goal is kicked. Then it was an outsides penalty by the Bears. And then it was the 2-point conversion was going to be on the 2-yard line, half the distance of the goal. Vic Fangio basically says, we're going to go for 2 again. They get the 2-point conversion. The entire time this is going on, I'm saying this is dumb, because if you don't kick the field goal and you miss the 2-point conversion, then that's pretty much game over. So they basically said, like, screw your offense, screw your defense. Bears, I'm going to go for the win here. They get the 2-point conversion, and then the Bears were able, barely, because Mitch really didn't. And there's a penalty. Mitch was decent, and then the last series, he really, the play calling, I don't know what the play calling is, because it was basically a penalty, really. And then Eddie Pinheiro comes in for 50. Let me see here as I'm looking at my notes. 53 yards. Okay. So off a penalty, basically, they get in the field goal range. I don't know why they did not run the ball at all. They stopped running the ball. It was weird because they started running the ball in the first half of the game, and David Montgomery started well. Him running up the middle on a good defensive line is a problem because basically Denver put Amen in the box and tried to push him out as much as they can. Now, he was able to break some tackles and make some plays, but they got to figure out how to move David Montgomery around, because if they're just going to run him up the middle all the time, especially with this pared down offense, which I'm actually cool with, because Mitch can't throw deep. For some reason, toward the tail end of last season and the beginning of this season, as much weapons as they have around him, Mitch can't throw deep to save his life. And he's inaccurate. So all that, which it was funny, I've said it since they drafted him. His accuracy has always been a problem. Now, sometime last year, people were saying that he's more accurate than we give him credit for. And he's had some good games where his accuracy was really on point. But I'm coming to the conclusion that Mr. Trubisky is okay. And if this team does anything, it's basically the defense. Defense played awesome, got an interception, could have had 2 interceptions in the game, but dropped. But they were two defensive drops. There was Khalil Mack was causing holding penalties like crazy. He played very well. They keyed into him to where he couldn't really do too much damage to Flacco. Flacco played okay, but just okay. And I don't know, defensively, it was a defensive struggle. Broncos played okay defensively. Bears played okay defensively. They just played better. Penalties were the story, and we finally have a kicker. Offense is still bad, and it's not that the offense we don't have the weapons. It's just Mitch is limited, and I'm coming, like I said earlier, I'm coming to the conclusion that Mitch may be just okay, and this defense is going to be the defense to carry us to anything. So this might be the Rex Grossman / Kyle Orton era, where in 2006, where we make it to the Super Bowl just off of okay quarterbacking and awesome defense. The problem with that is I don't trust this defense to get a lot of takeaways this season. The pass rush is still there. The pass disruptions are still there. Flacco didn't have any time. He seemed hurried. There was a lot of miscues on the Broncos passing game. There was a lot of hurries. Flacco threw for 50 times. Had a touchdown, had an interception. But it seemed like there was a lot of rushes, and it seemed like Flacco's best passes were quick passes and quick passes, dink and dunk stuff. Similarly to what happened to Denver in the Monday night game against Oakland. So it's an ugly win. I'll take it, but I don't know what to think of this team because everyone else is is better, and it seems like the defense got better because the rush has gotten crazy. The ability to take the ball away might have lessened, but the rush is good, and being able to disrupt passes is good. I just don't think that. See, it seems like to me, just as a fan, that the Bears are gonna get tired in a lot of games, and I don't trust Minnesota still. Green Bay is a problem, and I don't trust Detroit. So it's still going to be us and Green Bay. But defensively, the division has really, really good defenses. The entire NFC North has really, really good defenses. The Cowboys go up against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a good defense and a better offense than the Bears. We're going to have to be in some situations where we're going to have to beat people. We're going to have to outscore people. Or we're going to be in a situation where we might have to march the ball down the field. And I don't trust that this offense, and it ain't just Mitch, I don't trust that this offense is going to be. I'm glad that Nagy pared the offense down, but he still kind of went away from running the ball and putting David Montgomery in runs where he can't go on the outside, where he's just running into like defensive lines all day. That's going to run him down. And again, why is Tariq Cohen not in the offense more? Like, why aren't we making? He's the best weapon you have. He is. Until Cordell Patterson and Mitch get comfortable, or until they figure out how to use him efficiently, because Cordell Patterson can do Tariq Cohen things, and he has the speed, and he's 6'2". But they haven't really figured out how to get him involved in the offense, even though he had 2 good runs today. Tariq Cohen is your best offense, and quite honestly, David Montgomery is in games like this where they're gonna take the deep ball away. David Montgomery is your second best option. Use them more. They didn't use them enough. Philip Lindsay seemed like he was everywhere. He had 13 carries, 36 yards, and 4 receptions, 30 yards. He was, in certain situations, he was an integral part of their offense, as well as Royce Freeman. And it just seems like with the Bears, they go away from the weapons that we kept hearing about this summer. So I'm glad Matt Nagy pared the offense down, just because I don't think Mitch can do everything Matt wants him to do, or Matt wants to do on the offense. But I don't like the fact that the defense has to carry this team. I've been a Bears fan for many years, and it seems like whenever we get a good defense, or playoff winning defense, or in this case, a Super Bowl, because I think that this defense is good enough to get to the Super Bowl. And it seems like whenever we get a defense that's really, really good, it doesn't matter, because the play calling or the quarterback is trash. And this is a situation where we have a young quarterback, and he might just be all right. He might just be average. I'm not going to say he's bad. I'm not going to say he's good either. As my neighbors are blasting their music in my... Okay. Anyway. It just seems like, now I regain my thought. It just seems like that whenever we get a really good defense that can take us to the promised land, so to speak, we always have a bad QB situation and a bad coaching situation, offensively situation. This is a situation where Mitch Trubisky might be just okay. He might not be the franchise quarterback, and I'm probably going to talk about that. I will give Mr. Trubisky a benefit of the doubt for a couple more games. Basically because I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in the Green Bay game because, one, Matt Nagy doesn't play the starters during the preseason. I don't like that. Most of Chicago doesn't like that. They came out rusty. They came out terrible. Nobody was firing up on all cylinders. I personally think that this game was good from the standpoint of Vic Fangio knows what Mitch does. He knows what he can't do. They pared down the offense. They made sure he was safe. They put mittens on him. They made sure he didn't mess up. And he wasn't really throwing in the coverage. He was throwing over people's heads, but he wasn't doing a lot of stupid stuff. And it seems like Nagy was trying to, okay, let's not be super creative here, but let's try to, get our guys close, and let's try to win this game. As I drop something, and so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because of the defense, or at least the defensive mind of the Broncos. At some point, though, we got to have a conversation about whether or not this kid is the future. Meaning, do we need to, because he's in his third year, on a 4-year deal? Is he the future? Or do we draft somebody? And I'm not talking about tanking for another rookie quarterback. Do we get somebody who's young, or do we draft somebody in the second round in this coming draft, or we get a guy like Deshaun Kaiser or someone that's young, that also has tangibles, that can give Mitch a push to see if we have a franchise quarterback or not. Because I don't want Mr. Trubisky to get a $100 million deal and then we get hamstrung with a quarterback that can't do. We get hamstrung with Jay Cutler 2.0. And I've seen a guy we've had guys with tangibles but really couldn't do anything for the Bears as far as, can you get me here to a Super Bowl? Can you go up against a Tom Brady or Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and can you match them? Right now, I don't think Mr. Trubisky can do that. And quite honestly, I don't think Matt Nagy can do that. I still trust Matt Nagy's mind and the guys around him to call a good game plan. I don't know about the kid, man. So, anyway, I will take this win. I will gladly take this win. Defense played awesome. Kicker did his job. Let's check the kicking real quick. Kicking. All right. So I'm at the wrong button. Give me a second. This is what happens when you are self-produced. All right. Eddie Pinheiro, 3 for 3. The game-winning field goal was 53 yards. 53 yards. That's what you got the kid for. His leg is good, and he did what he was supposed to do. So I'll take this win. I'll take the kicking game. I'll take the defense. Offense, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt after this week, and we'll see next week. But don't know. Don't know if the play calling is. I don't know if Matt Nagy is as much of an offensive genius as we think he is, and don't know if the kid is good. I'm still I don't know yet. But we'll take it though. Anyway, see y'all next week. I'm out.